Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teaching. Another day, decent day. Although we started with a loser, I'm going to recap everything. Before I recap, just a quick introduction for anybody who's new to my Twitter, new to my YouTube, or new to our community. Just a quick introduction. So these recaps and teachings are from the trades we take every day. They are the trades that I take or I do not take, but I guide my community. These are the trade ideas that I share on Twitter in my community, or any trade ideas that I share with you guys on YouTube in previous videos. We talk about our day trades, swing trades, and investment names that we trade. We trade a fixed system, we trade a fixed setups, we do not trade random. We have a fixed methodology that we follow, and that's what we recap day in, day out. Every day before the market open, my team we are up a few hours before the market open. We go through everything, upgrades, downgrades, and we create what we call as the watch list and the game plan for the day. So this was the game plan for the day. We had a bunch of names: Baidu, DNUT, UPS, VKTX coin, SMCI, among other names. So we create support levels and pivot levels, and then we have a general bias on all these plays before the market open. Before the market opens, I'm on the voice 15 minutes before the market open, going through the game plan. So I'm on a voice going through the game plan and then sharing the game plan with the community. And when the market opens, I walk through the market, what market is doing, and trying to see what we can trade, what ideas we can trade, and general market commentary. I also share what we call as Ripster daily trade levels. These are the daily levels, supports and resistance pivots for SPY, QQQ, IWM, and all the main big 7 plays that we focus on every day. So we'll look at those. We'll specifically look today at ARM, how the level that we had panned out for any short trades in the community today. So let's start with the first play of the day. So the first one we're going to look at is our the home run trade for today, UPS. So let's go and see what was the pre-market plan on UPS. So UPS new revenue target was 108 billion to 114 billion for 226. I think they had investor day. It was gapping up. Support was 159, resistance was 159, support was 158. I told everyone there's a gap fill under 158. That was the plan in the pre-market. So we already had that plan that if it breaks 158, because it was breaking the clouds already in the pre-market, that we will short it. And as soon as the market opens, the first 10 minutes, I saw that it's heavy and it starts flushing, right? It starts flushing, and I gave the pre-market plan. And it's breaking down under that big level, then it's breaking down under yesterday's lows, and that confirms the short to me, right? This confirms the short to me. Your risk is 158. If you short at 156, that's a $2 risk. If you short at 155, then it's a $3 risk, right? So anyways, you should right at the open or wait a few minutes. That's where you take a short. If I go to a smaller time frame, I can show you how you wait for the first candle, the second candle breaks the low, that's where you take a short on a 3-minute chart, or the break of this level, you can take a short, right? So anyways, as soon as I see that, I tell everybody it's a short versus 158 as per the pre-market plan. I give the 150 target right away. I give the 150 target on this UPS short. So slow and steady, we work it out all day. We start to fade, we get to 152. Then it's bear flagging. Pause the screen and look at my guidance, right? I said we need the bear flag to break down. This is the bear flag I'm talking about. Bear flag breaks, boom, our 150 target hit. So our initial options from the pop go 200%. That's where we lock, and then we roll into further options, because look here what I'm saying. If we break 150, all out of the original ads, we'll roll with profits. If it can't hold 150, we might get some more fades. And that's what happens, guys. Big 150 flush, big flush to 147, $3 in few seconds. Look at that. So I bought these puts. When I told everybody that I'm going to roll it, I got in 149 puts. I bought it at 83, 85 cents. I sold most of them at 234. right? So I sold most of them at 234, but these ones went on to be at $5, right? 83 cents to $5. So use your profits, right? If you shorted here, you made, like say you made $2,000 or $3,000 to take, even if you took $800 out of it and bought these puts, those $800, you know, became another $4,000 for you by the time it hit 143. So look at that guidance all day. There was no reason to cover UPS short. We short from versus 158, 150 target met, then 146 target met, then all our target mets, big home run trade, multiple 200%, 400, 500% option trades. So that's how you maximize your option profits, right? So you can pause the screen and look that. We try to curl it. I try to curl it. When it was holding this level, I saw some buyers coming in, and this was a daily support you see here. So we try to call it as a C minus setup. It's a C grade, low grade, you know, very bad setup. So, you know, we understand that. So we take a low risk reversal trade. It pushed over 512s, added a little more. I was actually doing pretty good on that reversal on UPS. I was, you know, I was up 70-80% on those on the reversal calls, but then market dumped. You see I was up 50% here on UPS. So then I had to step away. I had to step away from those calls. So you see and how the short worked all day. Repeatable setup, guys. And look at the guidance. Just as per the guidance, gap fill under 158, clearly explained. All you had to do was take a position, let your trade work all day. You know, if you're in share short, that was more than $10-12 per short, 1 risk to 3 or 4 reward. If you used options, it was, you know, very highly profitable trade. Look at the range. UPS never trades this much range. It traded 400% of its average true range ATR. We will watch it for day 2. High watch for day 2. Great trade today. A trade like this makes up for the whole week. Let's go to the next one. So next one we're going to look at is Tesla. So what was the plan on Tesla? Let's go back and look at the levels on Tesla. So Tesla had price target cut, but Tesla also had a news that out of Italy that they're going to produce the electrical trucks. So Tesla was gapping up. And the support on Tesla was 177, 176.50. Resistance was 179, 180. I told everyone we only long over 176.50. We avoid under 176.50. The beauty of Tesla today was, guys, it was such clean levels. Look at these levels. Highs, lows, highs, lows, highs, lows. This is what I cover in my webinars. When levels are clean, that gives you more confidence for the pre-market breakout trade. So let's look at it. How did we trade it? Before even I was talking about, Win was on top of that the Tesla trade. He told everybody early in the morning that he will watch the dips, and you see this level from pre-market held, and then we break out of 179. I was a little late, but I was still able to get 50-60% on my calls. You can see here, and that breakout is where you take long. Your initial stop can be mid of this range, or this is your best stop. So you take this stop, you enter here 178.79 breakout, and your stop is like $1.30, $1.40, and by the end of the day you made like, you know, $4.5, right? So my 183, 181 was my target that I gave everyone in the morning, and we hit that target and much more. And when it's break 512s, and the beauty of that is I told everyone when then 512 is breaking down, right? So Tesla 512s were breaking down. This is where the Tesla 512s are breaking down, and that's where you exit. And I told everybody lock the profits. And since I told that, from 182 all the way, it faded to 178. So that was another short trade, long trade, short trade, all by the system, repeatable setup. Few concepts in Tesla here. Clean levels, pre-market breakout, long to the target, take profits, short under 512s, faded down, up, down, trade both ways. Beautiful, beautiful trade. That's why I didn't swing it. Look at the daily candle. Pretty ugly daily candle. So next one we are going to cover is a loser we had in the morning, SMCI. So let's look at SMCI. So SMCI, we was, what was our plan, and let's see how we managed the loser. So SMCI, this breakout was 1100, support was 1070. JP Morgan had increased the price target, and it started to break out, right? Amateur move. So I took the long on that amateur move on 1100 breakout, but it failed right away. It failed right away on me, and then I had to stop out, get out when it pulled back here, because there was a lot of move, and the options were getting killed at the open, going right down 20-30%. So I had to get out. So I took a loss. I told everybody to long, but then I closed it right away. So you see that I didn't wait any long. Within 3 minutes I closed it, because I don't care, because it can break the clouds and it can dip more. And after that I did not touch it. It was bouncing off the clouds. I was watching, but I did not touch it, because the reason being, suddenly all semiconductors started to sell off, right? So there was a weakness. So you see that the semis were taking a hit across the board. Across the board, they were taking a hit. So that's why I realized when SMCI failed, I looked at other names, AMD, which was a short for us at the open, and then we, and then it was a reversal, which we will discuss next. But I already lost on SMCI, so I'm not going to mess with it, because of the semi. Just yesterday there was a strong flow and we were long. Today there was not really much flow, and it was kind of bearish. SMCI was kind of bearish. It gave a short at end of the day as well, which we have been waiting for all day. We will talk about it that later. But then SMCI, and I took a loss. After that, I told everybody that it's weak, semiconductors, there's no flow. Then most of our traders in the community were short bias on SMCI. When it will break the cloud here from 1070, faded to 1050, not a bad scalp. And, then it started to bounce and went in the chop mode. So if you were in the puts here, then you were probably losing, because this was a kind of a chop mode. At end of the day, which we'll discuss later, when market was fading, if you see the market breakdown, which I told the community about, that market is fading, that was a good short. And that was a good short that everybody in the community took at end of the day. Either you short QQQ short, or SPY short, or SMCI short. So you see that how it was a morning loser, and we avoided going long on it for rest of the day based upon our analysis, because we can keep trying going long and keep losing. No, once lost, move on. And how the traders made money on the short side. If I show you in the community later in the day, a lot of the traders shorted SMCI. Even in the morning, when I warned about that the flow is really bearish on the semiconductors and they're getting sold, a lot of traders were short. A lot of traders were short on SMCI. Matt was short, he get 50%, and Goel was short. So a lot of other traders were short on that flush. Right on that flush, we were short. Few of us lost in the morning amateur move. This is the amateur move. Amateur moves are tough. That's what happens. But a lot of them made the money back doing this short, right? And that was my guidance. And we actually, we'll talk about AMD next. And then at end of the day, a lot of traders got these SMCI puts, and then they, made decent there as well. So next one I'm going to look about is AMD, right? So as soon as when SMCI was tanking, right, so AMD was dropping, because AMD was heavy. So AMD morning, what was our levels on AMD? Let's go back, look at our level sheets. So levels on AMD were 179.80, 178.25. They were breaking down right away, right? 179.80 break there, 170, then this level breaks down right away. So it was not a long, right? Definitely not a long. It was under the clouds. Our system, it's not a long. That's it. I don't care it bounces 20 points. When it bounces, we catch it, and we did catch it. So we'll talk about that as well. So that was a short on AMD. There was no long, because we talked about how the semiconductors were failing, how SMCI was failing. So that morning time between 9:30 to 10:40 was all bearish. First 1 hour was all bearish on the semiconductors. But when AMD was started to curl right here, 512 curls, look at the time, 10:12 a.m. That's when I told everyone that that 11 a.m. that AMD is starting to curl, watch it for scalps. And from that idea, it went on all the way to 180.60, Not sure why I swiped so much, but we only trade the concept, the idea. We go here, long here, and it was good, good scalp on the long side as well. We just play the 512 reversal setup. It was not an A+ setup. This is something I need everyone to understand. It's a bearish setup, bearish reversal. This was a bearish reversal yesterday. Let's look at, this was always bearish. This was a bullish reversal. So that's what you need to see. There is a setup A+, B-, B+. These setups are not the best. The setups which are long are best when we are going upwards and then we are following a trend to the upside. And these are different setups. Every setup is different. Let's look at ARM today. ARM was all day fade today after the midday. Remember I talked about how semiconductors are weak and ARM was failing as well. So I'm going to look at ARM levels. So let's look at ARM levels. 140, 139.60. 140, line in sand. And look what happens when that level breaks. It's already breaking the 3450 EMA cloud from 140 all the way to 128, right? ARM was a home run trade. Again, that's why we have ARM every day on our watch list. And this is about it. You have to, and amazing call outs in the community. Everybody was short on ARM this morning. And when it broke down, it just, in the middle of the day, it just faded. Prakash was on top of it and everybody was top of it, and Raj was swinging the ports. Really well done. A lot of people in the community, well done. I personally missed that, but the point I'm trying to share is you have to focus on one trade you like. You don't have to watch others. Most of the successful traders I have in community, they use my guidance or other people's guidance with their own conviction, rather than just blindly trying to trade what others trade. Yes, take ideas from everybody, but analyze yourself. So look at how ARM, the levels, this is the reason we give these levels in the pre-market, so you guys can watch those and trade with the system. Levels, EMA Cloud system, that's all I need. This was a perfect short. Look at that flush, home run there. Definitely amazing. We'll be watching it for day 2 tomorrow. Let's quickly go through some other trades from the pre-market plan. MKC was a pre-market plan. MKC, the pre-market plan was simple. Breakout over 75, neutral buys, right? So 72.50 was support, resistance was 75. Barons mentioned it positively. The breakout was 75. Look here, breakout was over 75. And what happened? Right at open, it breaks out of 75. And this is the same trade like SMCI. We were trying to trade the breakout. It did not work on SMCI. It worked on Tesla. Similar setup as Tesla, pre-market high breakout, gap and go. Tesla worked, MKC worked, and MKC from the 75 breakout went all the way to 78 all day long from our pre-market plan. Beautiful. Next one I'm going to talk about is VKTX, which is our winning swing. We have been swinging it from all the way from risking 61 bucks, 63. I talk about VKTX every day. I told everyone on VKTX this morning, you can trade the breakouts also, but sell if you're, I'm still swinging it. I made some money on the day trades, but it's up to you. You want to sell it or hold it. So the level was 75, resistance was 84, swing winner, watch versus the clouds. So what did VKTX do? VKTX held the clouds, broke out of the 84 level I gave, pushed to the 89 twice, right? And I made some like 40% on my VKTX longs there. It was nothing special, just some, chump change. When 512 breaks, we got out. And you see that when 512 breaks down, we fade back, right? 512 breakdown, we fade back. So another one of those repeatable setups, midday 512 breakdowns, you could have shorted it for a B- scalp. But in the morning, it was this breakout. It was not as convincing as MKC or Tesla, but there was a still decent amount of money made on this breakout. You can see my, there. So big winner for us on the swing side. Swing portfolio is good. Actually, swing portfolio is really doing good. Even Dell on our swing was really, working out nicely for us, and Snow on our swing as well. Kind of was going nicely before the market crap, so it's okay. Snow is still a swing. We will see how it behaves. Let's quickly look at coin. Let's quickly look at coin. So coin, what was the plan, right? So plan on the coin was, we'll watch these levels. 280, 250 was my support level. and you know that's under that is I'm bearish. That's why I have the support levels. So you see that right at the open, it opened under that level, so it was bearish, it was under the clouds, so it was short. Either you short, if you short the amateur move, you have to wait for the trend move, right? It was bearish. Coin is a short under the clouds. As long as it's under 280, 282, it's a short. You watch those rejections and look where it rejected, right around the 280 level. What did I say? Watch the rejections, 280, 282, and I said 280 rejects can stay short. Now we need to see lower lows, and back to lows, bounce, never got over 280 our level, faded at the end of the day to 266. So if you were patient, you know, system worked. Yes, it was a little choppy, you know, you could, then it was decent trade if you were patient at the end of the day. But if you were not, even that 280 rejections and 271, that was a good range to scalp that up down in that range. So we'll be watching coin tomorrow. It's breaking 1 hour support, so definitely we'll have a lot of room if coin breaks down that. Let's look at Donut, Krispy Kreme. What was the plan? So Donut was gapping up. Support was 1380, resistance was 1520. So that's resistance is my bullish pivot, right? That's why I have resistance. Bullish to neutral bias. I was busy in other trades, but if you see Donut, I had a price alert there, set there, the breakout price alert. And since it broke out of that price alert, Donut went on a run all day. You know, held these 512 clouds, held you know, this let's go back and look at that, held over our 14 and our cloud levels, and when it breaks out that 1540 and 1550, then it pushes, right? Pushes, retest, pushes, right? So all day breakout trend. So you just have to focus on the trend moves. You have defined risk at 14, then you have breakout, you add there, you move your stops up. When you play this breakout, you move your stops under this candle. And you know, even though this 512 is breaking down, but you need to understand that the cloud is very close and there's this previous breakout on Donut. So you know, that's how I would have traded, and still gapping up after hours. Let's now look at DJT, the you know, the stock by Trump, DVAC, the merger today. So it was pretty bullish right at the open. So let's see. So DJT, my level was 65.60, breakout over 66, no go under 56. So right away it broke out of that level at the open. You know, I hate when there's a big candle that moves in the pre-market. So I just hate that, you know. So then you don't have that the level, or you just have to risk that level. But anyways, it broke out right at open and it pushed to 79. If you traded the 65 breakout, that was okay, but there was no reason to chase it up highs right here. Then it came back. Then it was a midday setup, and then tape was on top of that midday setup. You can see that, right? So I always spell it wrong, DJT. You see this midday setup, right? So tape was on it. Great idea by tape in midday on that DJT. So you can see, you know, tape was on DJT on the trading floor. Great early call by him on DJT. And you know, reversal from 34.50 cloud, that's your risk, and it traded from $67 back to $75. So so that was the plan on DJT. I didn't do anything, but you know, I would have traded the opening long and then midday curl by tape. Beautiful call. You can see all the comments by tape. Well done on that midday curl. And he saw the flow coming in, and then, you know, that's what it was. Let's look at Reddit, right? So Reddit was on our watch list as well, but Reddit was also choppy in spite of the morning trade. The levels on Reddit were 60, 62, and 70 was the breakout. So in the morning, the 70 broke out. You know, I traded the calls on Reddit on that, and you know, I made not much. They went like 40% or something for me. that was okay, but then it pulled back. I had some Lottos, so I had to cut those Lottos. So basically I was flat in end of the day because my first trade was green and then it broke down. Although I did tell everyone about this level, right? This level, guys. So this level was line in sand. If you are a new buyer, then you use this level to buy. So I was trying to trade the breakout, so I had to get out. And when it was reclaiming the clouds, you could trade it again. It tried to break out 70 few times, but it failed every time, right? So now is tomorrow. This is a big level for Reddit. Not sure what it wants to do tomorrow, but overall today, if you were fast enough, there was a decent move at open. But in the middle of the day, it was pretty rough. It's hard to trade, and either you use the 63 level to trade it back up. For me, it was kind of a wash. But anyways, that was the plan. That was the level on Reddit. Next one I'm going to watch is MASI. We had a home run trade on it yesterday, but today it was didn't kind of work out, right? We were short on it. I was day 2 short. The pop into 140 rejections, but it held and turned bullish. There was no volume, so that's I knew by 9:54 I knew that it has no volume, it's not going to work. And when it bounced back here into the clouds, you just have to step away, take the loss, move on. So MASI was a loser today. Let's look at a couple of other day 2s. Micron was a day 2, big push over the clouds. Then came back. Then let's look at LULU. Was a day 3. LULU again day 3. It tried to push, failed, and then it was heavy. So LULU was heavy today actually. It's on a day 3 fade. That's what I mentioned. Day 3 fade. It tried to push but failed every time, and it was a great fade at the end of the day. We'll cover that. So we're now going to talk about how we end of the day, the short at end of the day in the market. So let's look at market, what it was doing end of the day. I was not trading market hold, SPY QQQ whole day. It was a choppy bearish chop, but I saw this chart pattern on QQQ. I saw this chart pattern. It was a very heavy bearish flag. It was heavy bearish flag. You see support 1, support 2, support 3s. Clouds are already bearish, and then it is coming down to this bearish pattern. So that's what I mentioned. So if you see that, I mentioned it before this breakdown. I mentioned on the floor, watch out if this pans out, if this breaks out. And immediately when it broke out, I went on voice, I even tweeted about this bearish flow, and we immediately look at what is fading, what is rejecting. Is it SPY? Is it semiconductors? It is Apple, Microsoft. What is fading? And guess what? The fades were on NVDA. The fade was on SMCI. The fade was on AMD. The fade was on ARM. Everything it was fading. You could pick anything up and you could short it. And that's what we did in the community. End of the day, we took some nice shorts on this on this chart breakout, right? So that's what we do. So and repeatable setup, right? This setup, understand that clouds breaking all the levels, and we go more down. And I did tell everyone we are bearish now at 322s. There was even before the market was kind of breaking down, I told everybody we are bearish now. And then the price alerts started hitting on QQQ and SPY, and if you see, it was breaking 3450 cloud. So that was an opportunity that came end of the day. And if you see the whole community, we were shorting stuff. We were short AMD, somebody was short SMCI, somebody was short NVIDIA, somebody was short Tesla, so that's what we were doing. So AVGO and UPS also didn't work on the reversal. So those are the opportunities that we got in the community, and that made up our end of the day. And you can see the before and after and on that trade. Anyways guys, so that really made us up. And so I'll see you, this is it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. We are going to run our Easter promo for our community. If you want to join, make sure you utilize our Easter promo. Come for ideas and education. Do not come for alerts. See you later. Bye-bye.